What's up, everybody? I'm Jim Rodriguez, and welcome to the midweek, to the Wednesday here on Dodgers' latest historic night at Dodger Stadium for all the good and the bad reasons. And of course, we always love that you're hanging out with us. Hit me up right there on Instagram and on X at JRodShow. And of course, love to hear your comments going back and forth with you on our comment section here on our Dodgers' latest YouTube page. Love to hear it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as the Dodgers blow another one. Took another no-hitter deep into a game. Ohtani had a no-no through 5. They took him out. And then all hell broke loose. Yeah, Dodgers lose it 9-6, and the LA bullpen once again, fire starters, man. Just absolute terrible. Yeah, we talked about it. Ohtani had a no-hitter through 5, had a 4-0 lead after through 5, and in came the Dodger bullpen, specifically Robleski and Trinan, and they got lit up. All in all, the Dodger bullpen gave up 9 earned runs in 4 innings. As the Dodgers lose 9-6, they're 6.5 games behind the Phillies now for the number 2 seed. So the bye, you can wave goodbye. The only good thing is San Diego lost, so the Dodgers still 2 up on the Padres for the division, and the magic number ticks down. It's now down to 10. Any combinations of Dodger wins and or Padre losses that equal 10 over these last 11 games, and the Dodgers have won the National League West one more time. But yeah, I'll tell you what, this is kind of why I was against the whole Ohtani starting now phase. And listen, I get it. He has it. You can't blame him per se, right? He has done everything, and of course, he made history last night, and we'll get into that in the next section. But if all he can do is give you 5 innings, then you know what? He was masterful last night, right? He was touching triple digits, but the bullpen has got to help him out. And I guess for me, a bullpen that has been so taxed this year, that has pitched so many innings because of this Ohtani experiment, because of all the injuries that have happened to the starters, the Dodgers have just run out of gas bullpen-wise. And I don't know how this team can compete in a postseason with this kind of bullpen. I just don't know how. You know, you're expecting all the starters to go complete games. You're expecting all the starters to go at least 7 innings. Okay, maybe that is old school, but I don't know how realistic it is. We saw a glimpse of it, a flash of it, with Glasnow and Snell and Yamamoto, but boy, you're telling him, hey, you gotta pitch 7, you gotta pitch 8, because we can't have anybody else come in. We're gonna give up the booty, and to give up a 4-0 lead in a game where the Phillies were, essentially in a division title clinching hangover. They won the division title the night before. They put out their best guys out there to try to give their Cy Young candidate Christopher Sanchez, who the Dodgers jumped on. And the Dodgers just couldn't do it. How many games have we seen this year where the Dodger bullpen has just imploded? And it was one of those things where the plan was always Ohtani to go 5. And so all of a sudden you look up and he's got a no-hitter through 5. Dave Roberts wasn't going to deviate. And I can't blame him for that, right? Because Ohtani's far more important as a bat than he is as an arm, which again goes back to my original point. Why not do this whole experiment during the course of the season, and then next year come into spring training, build him up, and then he can start the whole season where he can pitch 7, 8 innings and not be limited to just 5 innings. Because, again, this bullpen isn't going to work anymore, and I don't know what you're going to do with Ohtani anymore. I don't know, for me, if it's worth Ohtani starting games. Is it worth it for you? If he can only go 5, and we saw what we saw last night with the bullpen, and I know we're playing the results, but I almost want somebody that can go deep into games, and Ohtani just can't, and that taxes the bullpen, and it's not his fault, but at the same time, I don't know why they keep doing this. Are they really getting that much out of Ohtani as a pitcher? He's been great as a batter. He hasn't missed a beat, and he's still the MVP of the National League to me, but I just don't understand why this experiment is continuing, and now we're seeing, unfortunately, the sort of the invoice. We're seeing the results of an absolutely torn apart bullpen, combined with all the injuries, and you blow games, and once again, another masterful performance by a Dodger hitter goes away because of a busted up tired bullpen. It's amazing, and I tell you what, in a playoff situation, this is not going to be. It's not going to be a long playoff run. The Dodgers, they're 6.5 behind the Phillies for the number 2 seed, so that's gone. It's about playing in the wild card series, best of 3, as the third best division winner, and then who knows who we've got seeing. They may see the Giants, they may see the Diamondbacks, they may see the Mets in that short series. The only consolation for the Dodgers is all 3 of those potential wild card games would be at Dodger Stadium because there is no travel in that first round wild card best of 3 series. It's an absolute mess. Now the good part, well, Ohtani made history last night, becoming the first player ever to hit 50 home runs in a season and strike out 50 batters in a season. No one had ever done that before. Alex Rodriguez was the first guy to go back-to-back 50 home run seasons, or was the last guy to go 50-50 home runs consecutive seasons. That was in 2001 and 2002 when Alex had back-to-back 50 home run seasons. And Ohtani now, who hit 54 last year, now has 50 this year. And to me, it pretty much cements his MVP. I went at it with one of our viewers, and we love the comments. Come on, it's all good. It's all good fun. That, Ohtani is the MVP because he pitches. Well, then he should be the MVP every year. Well, if he hits 50 home runs every year, leads the league in on-base percentage, on-base plus slugging, leads the majors in runs scored, hits over 50 home runs, and strike out 50 batters, if he does that every year, well, yeah, he is the MVP every year. I mean, who's done better than that? I get it. Schwarber's putting on a masterful performance in the National League, hit his 53rd home run of the year on Monday. But in terms of what Ohtani brings in terms of an MVP, there is no better definition of it than a two-way player who is not only dominating, but actually helping his team. It's a team game in terms of the pitching aspect of it, that the bullpen's got to hold the games. But when you're asking me, if he pitches, he wins the MVP every year. Well, yeah, if he puts up these kind of numbers, absolutely he's the MVP every year. But congratulations to Shohei Ohtani, who once again, the unicorn, the freak, whatever you want to call him, another notch as he goes back-to-back 50-50 seasons. Last year was 50 homers and 50 stolen bases. No one had ever done that. This year, 50 homers and 50 strikeouts as a pitcher. No one has ever done that. More good news from last night. Well, the bottom of the order responded, right? Alex Call, Kike Hernandez, Andy Pages, 4 for 9, a couple of homers, 5 runs batted in, and got turned the lineup over and got it to the top of the order, guys. Listen, it's a 1 through 9. You can't have a hole in the lineup. And it's great to see Alex Call. He had put so much pressure on himself after being traded from the Nationals to the Dodgers. It was only his 5th extra base hit, but he took Christopher Sanchez deep, who hadn't given up a home run, who hadn't given up multi-home runs in a start since the end of July. And Alex Call and Kike got him for home runs to help build that Dodgers' eventual 4-0 lead, which they ended up blowing. And of course, Andy Pages, who's had a magnificent year, he got on the board with some hits. He's got over 25 home runs this year. Absolute masterful performance. So it was good to see the bottom of the order turning it over and making, continue it and extending the lineup. That's what championship teams do. They put pressure on the opposing pitcher. And for the Dodgers, let's just face it, with this bullpen situation they have, the Dodgers are just going to have to slug their way to a championship. There is no other way to do it. It can be done, and this team can do it. 1 through 9, they can be a really dangerous lineup, but they're going to have to score 7, 8, 9 runs a game. And again, in the postseason, it's a whole different animal because the pitching sort of comes up a little bit, but you got to hit the ball out of the ballpark to win in the postseason. The Dodgers can do that. That's going to be their shot to repeat as world champions. They're just going to have to outslug everybody down the stretch. And down the stretch, 11 games left in this 2025 season. And there's the Dodgers schedule. Tonight, 1 game with the Phillies. It'll be Jesus Luzardo and Blake Snell. And then the Dodgers finish up the home part of the regular season with a 4-game series with the San Francisco Giants. And then look at that road trip. Unbelievable. 3 in Arizona and 3 in Seattle. All 3 of those teams after the Phillies are all fighting for their playoff lives. It is wild, okay? The Phillies pretty much locked in as the number 2 seed. They are about 2 games, game and a half behind the Brewers for the top seed, but they are going to get home games. They're going to be going right to the division series. They're skipping the wild card as they now have a 6.5 game lead over the Dodgers for the number 2 seed. And the Giants, well, they were so close to being in that last playoff spot, but they've fallen now to 3 games behind the Mets, who have kind of righted the ship a little bit. The Mets beat the Padres last night. Thank you. So the Giants 3 games behind the Mets for the last playoff spot, and the Dodgers have a 4-game series with them. It's always, it's always tenuous when the Dodgers and Giants get together late September. Dodgers, though, have done well against the Giants. They have beaten them 6 out of 9 this year. Then the Dodgers will hit the road for the final road trip of the regular season. They go to Arizona for 3, and now the Diamondbacks are a game and a half behind the Mets for the final wild card spot. So they are very much in it, and then they end the year in Seattle, who are absolutely on fire. We know Cal Raleigh's going to be the MVP of the American League. Set a record last night with his 55th home run, most home runs ever by a switch hitter. He is blowing away most home runs by a catcher. He is running away with the MVP. And the Mariners have won 10 straight games. We hope they will have lost a couple games by the time the Dodgers get to them in Seattle for the last 3 games of the regular season. But Seattle is slugging it out with Houston to win their division. It's an absolute horse race to the end between the Astros and Mariners. And, of course, the loser will end up being a wild card. But the Mariners are on fire. Eugenio Suarez, who they acquired, has been absolute dog poop. Hasn't had a hit in something like in a week and a half. But the Dodgers, they don't have it easy. That's a tough road to hoe the last 11 games of the season with the Phillies, Giants, Diamondbacks, and Mariners, all who are either in the postseason or are so close to getting in there and are playing for their playoff lives. But we wouldn't want it any other way, right? Dodgers will host the Giants tomorrow, first of 4 games with them to close out the regular season and then hit the road. Magic number is 10. Tonight the Padres play the Mets. Padres will be in Chicago to play the White Sox over the weekend while the Dodgers play the Giants. So the Dodgers are going to have to try to knock down that magic number on their own because I don't know if the White Sox are going to give the Dodgers much help. Tonight, Blake Snell and Jesus Luzardo should be a strikeout fest over at Chavez Ravine. I'm Jim Rodriguez. Breathe, my people. Breathe. And remember, it's always time for Dodger baseball.